Perhaps not surprisingly, a new poll just out shows Anthony Weiner falling to second place in the race for mayor of New York.
It's the first poll since the new sexting admissions by Weiner. Well, the NBC4 Wall Street Journal Marist poll shows that Christine Quinn at 25% ahead of Weiner at 16%. Now, the latest sexting scandal involving the former Congressman Anthony Weiner, of course, generating a lot of debate about marriage, about monogamy, what even constitutes cheating, all these things.
Yeah, a lot being discussed. Yeah, but when you think about it, is monogamy even realistic in today's sexually charged social media environment? That question was a hot topic on Piers Morgan Live last night with the guest host, Donny Deutsch. Now, have a listen to what a sex therapist said about monogamy in today's society.
Monogamy, marriage, these are really difficult institutions for us. And with the 21st century and all the technology and having sex as readily available, there's going to be even more struggles with people maintaining boundaries around their sexuality.
I want to bring in relationship expert, life coach Charles Johnson to talk a little about this. I mean, this is something that everybody is talking about now, right?
Absolutely. It's the hottest topic out there. Is monogamy possible? And I say it absolutely is, provided you get a partner who believes in the same things as you believe in.
Well, that's easier said than done.
Yes, it is. I think people go into relationships with the assumption that the other partner or both partners are going to be faithful and monogamous. But is that in fact true? I don't think a lot of people take the time to have the talk.
Well, let's talk about what it's like around the world, because you've traveled around the world. We both have as well. And one of the things that struck me in covering President Clinton during the height of the Monica Lewinsky trial was that when we went to Europe or Latin America or Africa, they were all like, what's the big deal? Why are you guys investigating this? This is nothing. This is American prudishness or sexual immaturity. Why the difference here?
I think the biggest difference is Americans believe in the Hollywood dream. It's the love story. It's forever after. I'm true to you forever. But in the rest of the world, it's not like that for a lot of countries. For example, when I lived in Greece, the Greeks don't think that way, the Italians don't think that way, the French don't think that way, the Spanish certainly don't think that way. You know, monogamy is something that's desired, but romance rules. You know, so they believe that, yes, I have a husband, he's going to come home, he's going to behave himself, but when he doesn't, a lot of them simply look the other way.
Well, a lot of it's economic, too, in some parts of the world, too, isn't it? Women feel that in some countries they've got the security, they've got the house, they've got the kids, and, you know, he's going to do what he does. Not that that's right, but that's an attitude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I saw that in Japan. When I was living in Japan, I saw that a lot, where the men provided great homes, took care of children, good finance, good forward stability for the family, but every day after work, he'd go to the hostess clubs and sit down and drink with his friends and with ladies that sit down and talk about the day's events, and who knows what happened after that.
So I got to ask you this, though, because I don't think any of us have actually seen this anywhere, but maybe not. Is there a place where it's acceptable for women not to be monogamous? I mean, all these places, they certainly accept for men to behave that way. Any place in your travels and in cultures that you see it's acceptable for women?
I have not seen that.
Some parts of the world, it'll get you killed.
Why the double standard?
I can't even answer that question for you, why there is a double standard, but the double standard has always been there.
Universal.
So, well, if you take the Middle East, for example, I mean, a woman could be stoned for having infidelity. I mean, she just could.
Whereas a man is allowed to have multiple wives and can even have temporary marriages if he wishes.
Even in the Middle East, a man may be allowed to have multiple wives, but infidelity is still considered a sin. It's considered evil.
Hence, you have the practice of temporary marriages, which can be for a day or so, and we know what that's all about, and then you get a divorce and you go back to real life. You know, some Americans, some people think that they're becoming more forgiving of spouses who cheat on their partners. There was a part of the discussion on Piers Morgan last night. Let's have a listen to that.
We've seen so many men come back from various scandals. Are we at a point, is the country desensitized that unless it's an underage situation, rape, that pretty much now the American public is like infidelity? Sexting? I'm not saying I feel that way, but where we see the way the world plays out, there seems to be this a bit more like we've seen it all before.
You know,
well, I think there's a sense of forgiveness if, in fact, people say they will get help, if they will acknowledge and take responsibility for what they have done, and if, in fact, they do get help.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, most people I know, they wouldn't say, oh, well.
It's okay.
It's okay. I mean, do you think there's a growing sense of forgiveness or not?
No, I don't, particularly not in the Western world.
Yeah.
For example, there's a report that says that 1/3 of marriages, the divorces filed in 2011, Facebook was in the text as part of evidence.
Really?
Now, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Really?
There was another survey by prominent lawyers, divorce attorneys, that basically said 81% spike in their cases that have Facebook or social media texting as part of evidence for grounds for divorce. So I don't think women or men are forgiving what's going on.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for your, you know,
One-line secret to people who want to make it work?
Hold someone accountable. Set boundaries and hold men or your woman accountable for what you expect for them to do. And make sure you have someone who believes in what you believe in.
All right.
And check their Facebook.
Check their Facebook. Check their text.
See,
You never know.
That's the whole thing, really, when you think about it, social media and the role of sexting and Facebook and all of that. I mean,
Always say
was
trust,
really made
but
a
verify.
difference
Yeah, trust but verify.
Trust but verify.
Charles Johnson, also the author, we meant to say, of How to Find the Right One and Make It Last. Let's hope that that comes through. Good to see you. Thanks, Charles.
Thank you very much.
Good advice. Follow that advice.
That's a loaded subject, isn't it? All right, up next, we've got...